What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dress to Kill, we're going to be taking a closer look at the Vauban Citadel collection. Now, as always, I'm going to be showing off a couple different looks for you guys to catch some inspo off of. We'll be covering the weapon skin and Sugatra that comes along with it. We'll also be taking a look at the armors and the few Syandanas that I think work on this one, because it is a little bit rough, and by popular demand, as always, we'll be swapping out helmets as well as different skins to see exactly what works and what doesn't. So without ado, let's get dressed. Now, for you keen observers, you can probably tell that we are starting off with the C customization, and that's mainly because of the fact that I did fall in love with a particular look that we'll be jumping into later. However, I did want to create a classic, iconic rose gold look, and as you can see right here, I've completely embraced it. This skin has a ton of metallics on it, a total of 3 metal areas. So as you can see, the primary, the tertiary, and the accents are all metal. The primary kind of governs all of the high shine, kind of like rose goldy tint you see right here. The tertiary is actually kind of like this suede metallic, and then the accents, as you can see, are kind of these little pops of color right there. So there's a ton of metal here, and there's a ton of opportunity to go way too fucking overboard. However, in this look, I actually wanted to go ahead and embrace one of my favorite color customizations, which of course is rich chocolatey browns with powder blues and teal blues. So that's kind of what I wanted to go ahead and embrace and splash that in with a little bit of rose gold. Now, as you can see, I've gone absolutely bare, both bare-backed and bare-fronted with good old Vauban, and that's mainly because I wanted to show you the actual base of the armor. The whole skin itself is very, very intricate. As you can see up front, there's a layer of pistons that go up and down, but beneath that, there's actually a whole wiring scheme that goes along with it. So that's also for the, I don't know what to call this area. I know that this is the calves, it's the shin. I was gonna call it the forecalves because I didn't know what to talk about. But that's exactly what's going on. So there are layers upon layers, and I feel that sometimes you don't necessarily need to go overboard with extra armors or extra Syandanas. The skin on its own is very, very freaking beautiful and kind of reminds me of Octavia a little bit. Am I nuts? Regardless, this is what I wanted to kind of show off in its truest form, and I hope you guys enjoy a little bit of the classic Rob look. Now, for those of you guys who are familiar with the way that I like to mix things up on a Dress to Kill, you're probably not too surprised with this look, and that's mainly because I like to take the first look that we're doing and then do the complete opposite. Everywhere there's dark, make it light, and everywhere there's light, make it dark. And this is what I pretty much came up with, this really kind of like oil slicky, peacocky, power generated Vauban, and I'm absolutely in love with this. It's very, very deep, and I actually kind of pulled some inspiration from the new palette that we got this weekend, the Eminence palette. It's not exactly 100% from that, but it is kind of embracing some of that feels. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be salty out there, mainly because of the fact that I am using the Edo Prime armor, and if you note, one of the things that I avoided was putting a chest piece on. You're also going to see another armor set used in the next look, and I leave the chest piece off as well because I just don't find, there's just too much going on in this area, and there's too much coolness going on in this area to, number one, cover it up, and number two, if you have something a little bit transparent like the Edo Prime chest piece, it just looks a little bit, it just makes everything look a little bit messier. So, you know, sometimes you don't need to go all the way. However, I've always loved this deep dark purple and on metallics. Now, I know that a purple metal is not real. Someone fact check that for me. Are there any purple metals out there? It's not organic, so I don't really like using it as much, but I think that in this case, it works perfectly well for our Dark Knight. And last but not least, as you can see, we have finally arrived at the Vobacorn. I actually got a little bit of an inspiration from, I want to say it's League of Legends. They did this kind of like arcade Hecarim, and I kind of wanted to pull some influence from that, but not make it so completely and utterly outlandish. As you can see, I've pulled in pinks, I've pulled in purples, I pulled in some powder blues, and I've kind of given this cool off-white, and this is his look. I don't know what else to say. I was actually playing around to see what different armor sets I wanted to put on him, and to be honest with you, I was actually going to go for the Avia armor set. The Avia armor set is like kind of like, oh, let's just take a look at it. It's got like these kind of like bird wing things on it. I was like, oh, it's like a Pegasus. It's like a pretty little Pegasus that you can go with. And while I do feel like it does fit, there is something about the Acanthus shoulder guards that I'm just kind of like, it's a little bit more like a savage Pegasus, right? I'm totally into it. Definitely loving this look so far. It's kind of like mystical and ethereal, but also at the same time, the fact that we haven't gone too crazy and too intense with any of the colors, it kind of gives it this like almost slightly realistic look. Now, while we are here taking a look at the glorious Vobacorn and his armor set, I wanted to go ahead and mix it up real quick for you. As I showed you earlier, the Avia armor set does work on it fairly well, but one of the things you can also use is the Prisma Neighboress. I definitely really like this. However, I've been using it a lot in many of my looks, and I feel kind of like the Acanthus still fits a little bit better. Now, another one that I wanted to go ahead and highlight, it didn't really fit into any of the looks I was going for, and it is still a little more square than I like for this, but the Quaro pieces look quite good on this as well. It's very tech, but the metallics on it kind of match up. It kind of, you know, kind of mimics the metallic feeling that we've got on there as well. And I think that it is definitely a nice matchup, even for the leg area, which I think is a little bit tougher because it does have all of that busyness there and you kind of almost don't want to take away from it. But I feel like it definitely works. What do you guys think? I'm totally digging it, just not for this specific look, right? Not for this specific look, but maybe something that you guys end up coming up with. However, this, aside from the armor, right now, is the Vobacorn. Alrighty, moving along, we are taking a look at the more tier heavy blade skin as well as the Marquise Sugatra, both of which I think look pretty fucking awesome. However, I do want to make a quick note. Towards the end of last week, we did get a tweet from Pablo saying that they are going to make this thing a little bit bigger. So now it's not just going to be a grower, it's also going to be a grower that turns into a shower eventually, which was definitely kind of one of my issues with the weapon itself. It looked a lot bigger in some of the pictures that they had shown. But with that being said, I think that the skin itself looks pretty gosh darn good. I only have a couple complaints about this. So the size was an issue, which is gonna get fixed, but the metallics on it are a little bit weird. First and foremost, they definitely do not match up to the metallics on the Vauban skin itself. There's actually 3 metallics on the Citadel skin, and there's only 2 metallics on the Mortier heavy blade skin. So that's a little bit frustrating. When you do a copy over, you can see how bad it looks, and it's not quite there. You do have to do a little bit of tweaking with it, but, and I want to show you this weird, it's a weird thing, don't ask me who, what, where, when, or why, but if you take a look here, like the way that it reflects the color on these little parts is really, it looks a lot lighter than it is when you're customizing it, right? So as you can see right here, you kind of fuck with it, and that purple, which is the same purple that I'm using here, is super light. So it's, I don't know if it's just maybe the angle that things are put at, but as you can tell, it looks like here, but when you kind of like go and exit, right, and you look at it again, it looks darker. So I don't know if that's just the shadow or some weird buggy odd thing. It kind of like definitely puts a little bit of a hamper on the customization of it. And also, like I was kind of showing you, you really can't just do a copy Warframe colors and have everything carry over. You have to really shift around the colors in order to make it work. I feel like you have to negate one of the colors as well. It's just a weird thing. Just play around with your color tones. You'll get to it, but the colors are definitely not placed in the same place. Definitely keep that in mind. However, I'm excited. get a little size on this thing, and we can definitely make it work. I still think it is definitely worth the 75 plat that you're getting for it. Plus, keep in mind, remember that all of these weapon skins in the deluxe bundles are exclusive. You can't buy them singly. So if you're thinking about whether you should spend the extra 75 plat, I say definitely go ahead and do it. Especially because this is one of the Sugachas that I feel like they got right. I really do feel like they got it right. It looks really good. Its physics are a little bit off and wonky, but at least it doesn't, you know, at least it doesn't do weird, like, floaty, like, in the air, like it's trying to be a ribbon shit. It actually looks like it's kind of like chain linked, which I like. You guys know I'm a fan of that. Now, to close things out, we're gonna take a look at Syandana's, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch around skins. But as you can tell, for each of my looks, I actually didn't put a Syandana on any one of them. That's because I don't find too many of them that work. It's actually a little bit frustrating with the skin. I don't know if it's the placement itself, or I don't know, it's like the back is just kind of odd for some Syandanas to sit on. So let's go for a Syandana that you guys know that I am very, very fond of and that I absolutely love, because, you know, the artist who made it is extremely, extremely talented, and this Syandana tends to work well on everything. However, I don't feel like it works so well here. Just me personally, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is definitely not, it doesn't feel like it works, even though from the front it kind of works, you know what I mean? You can only see little bits of it, you'll see a little energy color, but for some reason from the back it just does not look right. That's my personal opinion on that. However, I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple Syandanas that I do feel look not half bad on it, but not good enough for me to go, oh, I'm gonna put that on its back, if I'm gonna be honest with you. As you can see, there's a lot of skipping going on right now. The Dax Syandana, not specifically with this customization, I actually don't feel like this one looks that bad on it. Again, not good enough for me to put on it. This one I actually kind of like on it, which is the Dual Vopi. Of course, you're gonna have to mix up the colors a little bit. I feel like it fits well, and it kind of makes him look like a little bit of a Dragon Knight, very similarly to the Nidus customization that we had before. Definitely like the looks of that one. What else was there? There was also another one that I really was like, oh, that's not half bad. The Nasaru Syandana is not bad either, and it kind of accentuates the circle. However, I feel like it's kind of dinky with the overall look, so if you're gonna play with that, play with that. I like the Pyra Syandana on it. Again, it kind of like cups. It cups that area, and it's almost kind of like one of those things where it's like the pistons are powering it up and charging it up. I didn't like the Pyra Prime Syandana on it as much. However, it does still kind of like what's the word I want to say? Embrace that steampunky vibe off of it, because it almost looks like from the front, he's kind of like powering these jets, which is pretty cool. However, my favorite overall is the Rhoda Syandana. This is just, I think that this is the perfect Syandana for him. I really, really do. I think that that's a really, really strong contender. It covers up the weird back circle, and I think that my issue is seeing the fact that that back circle is there. I want all of my Syandanas that have a singular attach point to kind of like move down to the center of it. It's weird, but I do quite love it. I think that this one fits perfectly if we get the color customization on it right. And the Rapala Syandana kind of always looks good on everything, except, I don't know, I think it's a little bit like I've said before, it's a little bit like the pumpkin spice latte of Warframe Syandanas. Yes, it looks good on everything. Yes, you can put it on anything, and that's fine and dandy, but it's a little basic bitch for me. Salic Syandana does manage to look really well on him too, and I kind of feel like it almost gives him a little bit of that Robin Hood vibe. I feel like it's like Automaton from Robin Hood. So those are the ones that I really want to put up there. The Scythian Syandana looks interesting as well, if you guys like the jetpack stuff. But beyond that, my normals, like the Tello Syandana is not going to work. The Ephysium Syandana just doesn't work for me. But those are the ones that I definitely will vouch for if you guys want to play around with that. Now, without ado, I know you guys are always very curious about all of these things. We're going to try out the different helmets to see how this works. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not... Number one, whenever I do these helmet things, I've usually never tried them before, like the helmet and body swaps, because I like keeping things very, like, samey. So sometimes they can end up being a bit shocking. That's not bad! Except for the fact that the metallics just don't match up. That I actually was expecting to be a lot worse, except now he really does look like a penguin. He looks super duper penguin-y with this, except for the fact that the color mapping is just not right. Now for the next few ones, I'm going to be like, nah, this is probably not good, mainly because of the fact that, again, the color mapping on the original alternate helms don't have any metallics on them, so it's not always the most pleasant when it carries over. Like, that is just like, his head just looks like it's been dipped in honey mustard. It's not a good look. Ooh, look at Reiku's Chapelon. Even though the colors, I don't feel like mix quite well, the look is right. So if you guys kind of want to play around with maybe trying to make the colors work, you can do that. Of course, we have the Citadel helm, which better match. We've got the Vauban Grax helmet. Listen. You know, we just leave the Vauban Grax helmet where the Vauban Grax helmet belongs, because it does not belong here. The basic Vauban helmet, and then of course the Vauban phased helmet, which interestingly enough, because of the fact that it's using that base color, and it doesn't take the colors of anything else, it's kind of hilarious because it almost works. It's like he's powering up his green brain. Interesting. Now let's go ahead and swap the bodies real fast so that you guys can see how it looks. I mean, the helmet, it's because the color mapping just does not match. There's so many metallics on the Vauban Citadel skin that literally making the helmet work does not necessarily make the body work. The Grax skin, just some things shouldn't mix, okay? Some things just should not mix, and this is one of those things. I don't like it. The Vauban phased, ooh, that is a strange look. That is a very strange look, so we're gonna pass on that. The basic Vauban skin, nope, no metallics on that. And the Vauban Immortal, which you guys know I don't play with the Immortal skins. That's just not a thing I do. All in all, I think that the way that I like this setup is definitely just staying true to the deluxe skin itself. Right. Regardless, woo, choked on some air there. That does do it for this setup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys really, really liked it. Share your feelings down in the, not description box, in the comment box below. Let me know which look you guys enjoyed the most. Are you with me with Vobicorn? I'm almost thinking that what I need to do is make a Vobicorn palette and just pull some colors out for you guys, and maybe like have you guys set up your own like unicorn looks. Maybe like a Miragicorn, a Locacorn. Okay, so that's my time. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. And thanks for the follow.
Follower. Welcome